Okay guys, so it's been a few days since I worked on the 55 because Christmas was here. I hope you all had a good Christmas. I did. Can't complain about it, but I wanted to go over what I've been working on the 55, what I've been doing to it. I haven't done a lot to it, but done a little bit. I want to show you guys what I've done. I want to talk about these rust killers first that I've been using. So this is the first stuff I got, was this Skyco, and it's acidic. You really need to wear protective gear when you're using it. Probably a face shield would be good, because what I found out was when you're spraying it out of a spray bottle, which is what I was doing, the wind catches it and blows it in your face. So probably a face shield and gloves, a respirator if you're bothered by the fumes. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff, and it basically makes the metal look like this right here, which I'm not real happy with, but it supposedly kills the rust. But you know, I sprayed it on the entire car. I used almost the entire gallon of it. I sprayed it everywhere I'm working at anyhow. Let's put it that way. This stuff here, this Rust Performer spray, it basically does the same thing this does. It gives you a surface like this, but it's not caustic like this stuff is. So, you know, this stuff here, you can get it. I got it at Harbor Freight. It's like $5 a can. I used 2 cans and sprayed the whole bottom of the car, the same areas that I did this, so it goes pretty far. I got a few more cans of what I'm going to use. But then the last thing I want to talk about is this stuff here. You can buy at Walmart that's in a quart can. It costs about $22 for a quart of it. And this stuff here, after putting it on, it reminds me a lot of POR 15. And I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute. But couple things you got to remember about this stuff here is, if you're doing the bottom side of your vehicle, especially if you're going up underneath the vehicle with a paintbrush, I put it on with a paintbrush. You can thin this out and spray it if you want to, but I didn't do that. I just used I just got cheap paintbrushes and used paintbrushes to put it on with, and it brushes on really nice. But the thing you got to remember about it is, if you're upside down on the bottom of the car doing like I was doing, you're going to get it everywhere. You're going to get it on your hands, you're going to get it on your face and your hair. So again, it's a good idea to wear gloves and maybe some sort of a covering over your head, face shield, whatever, just to keep it off you, because it's like impossible to get off. I had to take it off with paint thinner and brake clean, because it wouldn't come off with you know, just soap and water. So I mean, it'll wear off after a while, but it's kind of hard when it gets in your hair and stuff to deal with it. So you might remember that. And the other thing I wanted to tell you about this stuff is, every single can that I've opened, I shook it up really good when I opened it, but at the bottom of the can, there's this real thick substance from this. So it needs to be shaken really well, or even stirred when you open it up. But what I did is, I just used it until I got down to this area. Then I added something to it to thin it out. Dadgummit, can't think what it's called. Anyhow, I used you have to use mineral spirits. Sorry, you have to use mineral spirits, because, and that's another thing I like about this stuff, it's oil based. So since it's oil based, it goes on really well, and since it has oil in it, it will definitely prohibit rust in the future. So let's take a look at what this car looks like, the parts of it that I've used this on. I used all 3 of these on the car, but I did this first, hoping it would get the result I wanted. That didn't work, so I tried this over the top of that, and that didn't work. So then well, I power washed it after I got this done, because this stuff here leaves like a film on the metal, and like a kind of a, I don't know, like a, well, you can see it like right here, these kind of a dry stuff, powdery substance. You got to wash that off. So I power washed the car, and then I sprayed it with this, and I still didn't like it. It still looked like that there. So then I used this with paintbrush, and this is the result that I got. As you can see, this is the frame. Looks really nice. Stuff goes on really thick, and when it dries, looks good. Depending on what part of the can you're using, some of it dries to kind of a sheen like this, and other parts of it, like up in there, you can see that's kind of a flat finish there. So this was the bottom of the can, this was the top of the can, so that's the difference. I guess if I stirred the whole thing up, it'd probably look like this, but I didn't know that. But future cans I open, I'll probably stir them really well before I even use them. But that's what it looks like there. And let's go underneath so I can show you what I've done. Well, there's the rocker panel. I put a little bit on that because it was pretty bad looking, and I put a little bit around the rear bumper areas and the bottom of the fender just because it was bad looking too. So again, I'm planning on leaving most of the patina on this car. Not going to plan on doing a whole lot to it. Like I said, I'll probably paint the roof because it looks really bad, but the rest of the car I'll probably just clean it up and oil it or something, I don't know, to keep the patina on. I like the way it looks. So anyhow, let's go underneath here and look at what I've done underneath. Okay, so here's the frame underneath the car on the passenger side. You can see I've done the whole frame all the way across, and I did the transmission tunnel. Whatever part of it wasn't greasy, I put that stuff on it, so it looks pretty good. And I did the frame on the other side. You can see it's done as well. I didn't do the top of the frame. Any place I couldn't reach the top of the frame, I didn't do it because obviously I can't reach it. But eventually, when I put the new body bushings in, I'll raise the car up and I'll be able to get underneath there and do the top of the frame. So I'll do that as well. But this looks pretty good. I like the way it turned out. And oh yeah, the rocker panel on the inside, I did it as well. You can see it's been done, and up into the footboard there, toe board, whatever you want to call it. Done that. So that's the rocker panel on the inside. Looks pretty good. And then up under here, the back, the trunk section. I'm not sure how well you guys can see this, but the trunk section of the car, the trunk floor of the car, I did the whole thing because I've already removed the part of it that I'm gonna replace. So I've done all the trunk floor. And I think it looks really nice. Turned out really good. I did the inside the fenders. You can see I did the inside of that fender there and the inside of that fender there towards the back. I did that one. So, but I mean, this frame looks really good, and you know, it made a huge difference in the way this thing looks. So I'm pretty stoked about it. Looks nice. But anyhow, you can see how nice that looks. And out here, these are all the panels that go on either the trunk or the passenger side. So I've coated all them in this stuff too. Stuff like this panel here, which is the brace that goes on the rear of the car. I can't get to it once it's in place, so I did both sides of it. As you can see, it's been done, so it's not going to rust. Now this one here is the valance panel. The outside of it's going to be painted. You know, it's the outside body of the car, so I did not do that side of it. I mean, you can put that stuff on this side, but it'd take a lot of sanding to get it smooth, so I wouldn't recommend putting it on there if I were you. And the floor braces over there, I covered them completely. This is the rear panel that goes below the taillight. I did the overlap pieces there. I coated them, and the back side of it, but I did not put any again on the front. And that's the floor pans out there. The spare tire well had EPDM coating on it, that black paint that's on there, but as you guys that worked with this stuff know, that stuff is like so thin you can see through it, and within just a couple of months after putting that on, it would start rusting. So I just went ahead and did it. I just did this side of it. I didn't do the inside of it yet, but these floor pans I did all the floor pans, both sides. I'm gonna have to clean off areas of them when I weld them. I know that, but you know, I just take a grinder and just buff off a little area where I'm gonna weld once I final fit the panel in place, and it'll look fine. Or it'll weld up, and then I can go back when I'm done and touch up, you know, any spots that I missed or whatever with the sealer. All the welded spots, you know, I can touch those up, and it'll be sealed up. Then of course I got to use seam sealer on the body. But that's where I'm at so far with this thing today. My goal today is to get it back inside the shop and on the lift so I can start putting it back together. So because I got all this stuff done, I need to get all this stuff put on before I start tearing anything else apart. So I'm kind of running low on time here. I'm going to leave here pretty quick, but I want to try to get as much of this done as I can before I leave. So I'm going to keep working on it, keep making videos and add them to it. So hopefully you guys like this, and you'll keep watching the transformation of my 55. So thanks for watching. Bye.